We saw the third edition of the College Football Playoff Committee brackets earlier this week. It was on Tuesday where they made the announcement, and we knew there would be some shakeup after Alabama lost in a really close game as well around college football. And there wasn't a ton of change in the first two, some major change in the next one. But there will be some changes moving forward, and that's where we come in.
Yes.
We'd like to do our projected bracket. So what we're doing is we're not saying it as it sits right now here today. We're saying, hey, let's play out the next few weeks, now seed the bracket, and here we go.
Yeah, and I think I started with the top five, so we'll roll right in here with your bracket.
All right. Yep. All right, so here it is. I don't believe there's going to be any change at the very top.
Okay.
Ohio State still owns my number one spot. I do believe that they will not lose to Michigan, and they're in. Same thing with Indiana. I do not believe that they'll lose anymore. They're in as well. Number 3, Texas A&M. I think they end the season undefeated. I think the Texas game goes the Aggies' way. They win as well. Same thing with Georgia. They win out too. Now, as far as the at-larges go, I like the Tulane Green Wave to hold that group of 5 spot there as the number 12 seed. I think North Texas, this is my upset. North Texas loses at Rice this week.
Wow.
They are out.
Oh, because all the beer.
They are out. All the beer.
All the beer that's going to go to the students for free.
Yes.
Like, what?
A night game in Houston. I believe North Texas loses and vaults Tulane up to that number 12 spot. So I'm going to do it by the seeding. My number 11 spot is held by the ACC champion. That is Georgia Tech. So my 10 spot is Southern Cal. Here's the reason why. I do believe that Southern Cal will play a lights-out, drag-out, knockdown game with Oregon, enough to where the committee will look at that loss a little bit differently. I do believe that they'll get another team in. Now I'll go back to the 8-9 game. The 8-9 game is Notre Dame and Texas Tech. You're like, okay, well, does Texas Tech slip and fall? I do believe so, because I do believe that Texas Tech will end up not having pretty wins. This will not be based on wins and losses. This will be like the style with which they win and lose those games. So I like Notre Dame hosting Texas Tech. I like Oregon sliding into that number 5 spot after that win over USC. So they'll play Tulane. I like Alabama holding the number 7 spot. They do not lose the Iron Bowl. They get in. And then Ole Miss holding that 6th spot, and they'll take on the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Now, the biggest question you'll be asking is, where's Oklahoma? I think Oklahoma ends up losing this week to Missouri. They have 3 losses, and they are done. And then there was another team that was in question here that I wanted to make sure I could explain away.
Let me see here. You got Ole Miss, you got Alabama, you got Oregon, Tulane, Notre Dame. Is it BYU maybe?
Okay,
BYU.
Well, BYU. I believe that the Big 12 literally only gets one team, and I think it's Texas Tech.
I find Southern Cal a little interesting.
Yeah, so to me, the Southern Cal deal is I just believe that this year there will be so much chaos in the back end of the SEC that it'll allow the opportunity for another Big Ten team to slide in. Now, what I could have done is just change up the seeding, because I think maybe if Southern Cal does get in, they might be the 11 seed or maybe even the 12 seed. But I do believe that the Big Ten gets another team in, and the SEC, they still have Georgia, Texas A&M, Ole Miss, and Bama. But I do believe that the door will be locked for Oklahoma and a 5th team in, and I do believe the door will be locked with Vanderbilt, because I think Tennessee beats Vanderbilt as well. I just think there'll be a little bit too much chaos to get 5 teams in.
What about Missouri do you think is the reasoning that they're going to win? Is it because Bo Pribula is likely to play?
Bo Pribula is likely to play against Missouri. And then also, too, I think that now they have a nice little blend here of that run game / pass game. I believe that this game will kind of play out the same way that Kentucky beat Auburn. Very low scoring game. Oklahoma's offense leaves so much to be desired.
Yes.
I don't really trust Oklahoma's offense at all. So I don't think for Missouri it will take many points. I think 17 points can win this football game. I think maybe 20, 21 points almost guarantees a win in this football game. And given what happened in the Alabama-Oklahoma game where they had 3 turnovers, I think Missouri's their number one thing: don't turn the ball over. I think Ahmad Hardy is about as sure-handed as it gets. I think they won't put Pabula, or if Pabula does not play, they won't put Zollers in situations to turn the football over. And I just don't trust Oklahoma's offense to run up and down the field. So I think a low-scoring game, Missouri gets the win, throwing a little bit of chaos into Oklahoma's chances. I think Tennessee gets the upset in Neyland Stadium over Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's odds now go by the wayside, and the SEC gets 4 instead of 5.
You know, I think of that Mizzou-Oklahoma game as like the Seahawks-Broncos Super Bowl, where all the talk was about the Seahawks defense versus the Broncos defense.
Right.
And I feel like in this case it's Ahmad Hardy versus that Oklahoma run defense.
Yes.
But no one's really talking about the Oklahoma offense against the Mizzou defense.
Right,
but,
right.
I mean, again, it is questionable. You are right about that. You don't know what you're going to get out of John Mateer. But Mizzou is also – I mean, they held Vanderbilt in check.
Yes, they did.
They held Diego Pavia in check, and that's been hard to do. I mean, you know, we thought that Texas was going to have one of the best defenses this year, and they just haven't.
Right.
And, I mean, last week or 2 weeks ago, Auburn had one of the best defenses, and then Diego Pavia almost had over 500 yards.
Correct. Exactly.
It's just unreal.
Both running the ball and throwing the ball. And once again, the last thing I'll do will say with Southern Cal. The one thing I do think with that Southern Cal pick is that I believe that they're in the 12, but that seeding could change. The reason why I have them there is a lot of what I said last week. This committee is going to want intriguing matchups, and they're going to want good games. You put Alabama and Southern Cal in the same matchup, two historic brands playing in Tuscaloosa. I believe that's the reason why I try to slide them in there, because it won't necessarily be the game, the seeding with Southern Cal, because I don't think Southern Cal is a top 10 team. But I do believe that the committee will slide at least one marquee game in that first round.
All right. You ready for mine?
Let's do it.
This is nothing but chaos, but this is I honestly think this.
Yeah.
I honestly think this. Indiana is going to be the top seed by the time this is all said and done.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I'll get into the first 4 in the buys here in a second.
Right.
Let's start with the 8-9 game.
Okay.
It would be criminal to not put Notre Dame, Alabama in the first round. I mean, I talked about it yesterday. Ratings would be absolutely through the roof.
Yeah.
Easily the highest rated first round game in any sport in history. I mean, it's just unreal, the matchup that would be, and it would be great. There's a lot of talk about Notre Dame and if they really should be in the college football playoff. Have 2 losses, not playing in a conference, playing a bunch of cupcakes outside of it. But I mean, they looked impressive last week against Pitt, and they do look like college football.
And you like that seeding, though. You like Notre Dame 8, Bama 9. I like the matchup, but I might flip those.
Again, I go back to what you were saying about committee favoring losses late in the year.
Yeah, okay.
And I think that's just the one thing. It's like Alabama lost late in the year, and that's just the one thing that makes me a little bit nervous.
I get that. I get that logic.
Here's where it starts to get interesting. Georgia is going to be a 5 seed.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Georgia's going to be a 5 seed because they're not going to play in the SEC championship, I don't think.
Ah, okay.
I don't think they play in it.
The SEC championship game is going to be Texas A&M and Alabama.
Yes,
okay.
That's my pick, and then Texas A&M wins, but Alabama doesn't get. Here's where I think it's going to change a little bit, because the committee's not going to hurt Alabama too much because of a loss in the championship.
So they'll have 3 losses.
We cannot have that.
No,
we just absolutely cannot have that.
Yeah.
Here's where it gets interesting. Georgia's 5.
Okay.
SMU is 12.
Wow.
So
the ACC champ is going to be 12.
Yes, for the second straight year, the group of 5 will be ranked higher than the ACC championship.
Okay.
Because SMU has 3 losses right now.
Right.
And I look at the ACC. Georgia Tech still has to play Pitt.
Yes.
This week.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a tough game. I think if Georgia Tech wins that game, then SMU needs Virginia to lose as well.
Right.
And I think Virginia has a tough stretch to end the year as well.
Yes, Virginia plays Louisville, I think. I'll pull the schedule up. I think they still have Louisville and
Louisville and
Tech. Do they play Tech at the end of the year?
No, because Tech plays Georgia.
No, sorry, Virginia.
Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
Virginia Tech.
Virginia plays Virginia Tech. That's right. Yeah.
And then SMU sits in number 3 right now. So they really just need one of those teams to lose.
Right.
And then it's them and Georgia Tech in the championship. I like SMU and Kevin Jennings over Haynes King. I'm going to go on the record and say I think that's a little bit bold, but I'm here for bold.
Yeah, that is bold. I like that. So okay. Of course, that means Pitt is gone. So Pitt's only loss would be Pitt's loss. It was a bad loss.
Louisville.
It was a bad loss. Oh, Louisville. That's what.
Pitt's gone. Pitt is abolished, especially after what Nargoofy said last week. All right, moving right along.
Yeah.
7-10. Oklahoma gets the 7th seed because they have the win over Alabama. Here's where I think Michigan gets in.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah.
Ryan Day, just like Kirby Smart. Kirby Smart has an Alabama problem. Ryan Day has a Michigan problem. And I think Michigan, Bryce Underwood, in the barn, in the biggest college football stadium in America,
right,
in Ann Arbor, Michigan does it again, and that's enough to get the Wolverines into the college football playoff because it's wins late.
Yeah.
It's wins late, and it's wins over the number 1 team in the country.
Yeah.
You cannot refute that. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's true. This actually, man, it makes me think
of early losses. They don't care about that.
They don't
care. And it was to
Oklahoma,
and it sets up another rematch.
Yes, and I was going to point that out. That's another rematch back in Norman once again. Another interesting scenario there. When you brought up Michigan, the very first thing I thought of was I think what we're doing essentially is we're swapping my Southern Cal with your Michigan.
Yeah.
But I do find something very interesting with the Michigan deal, and I know we're in this weird climate where sometimes, and you talked about the integrity of sports and want to keep sports clean, and we talked about betting and the way that the betting world has really changed a lot of things. I find it interesting to see if the Big Ten just doesn't whisper to Ohio State, "Hey, look, you're still getting your first round bye if you lose this game." You know what I mean? It's just hey, we can add another team in. We'll give you money. We'll add another big team in, which is good for everybody in the conference, and you'll still and they'll still hold. It'll be a 1-loss team. I'm going back and forth on Michigan, Ohio State because the more you talk about it, the more I want to pick Michigan in that game, even though I don't see them being better than
So quick departure here, real quick. Pete Thamel just said the announcement on Lane Kiffin is expected to be after the Egg Bowl. Okay. So there's that.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Okay.
Ole Miss, right on cue.
Yeah.
He's going to play North Texas. I am so high on the mean grade.
Oh, no. Really?
I think North Texas is making it in. And honestly, by the time this is all said and done, they're going to be ranked higher than SMU because they only have 1 loss.
That's true, yeah.
I don't care if you get all the dudes in Houston there, all the beer and stuff like that. I don't care. It's not happening. So stop. I don't know what the Nick Saban was. I don't know, so quit asking. That's my thing on that. And then here we go. Indiana's the top overall seed because they're going to play Ohio State.
Right.
And they're going to beat Ohio State. Now, I know you said, hey, or actually, here's where it gets tricky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Ohio State, oh, man, this is where I messed up. Because now, how is Ohio State? I did this 2 weeks in a row.
Ohio State.
I did this 2 weeks. Man, it's so hard to do this.
So you're saying how is Ohio State 3 still?
How is Ohio State still a first round bye with 2 losses?
But the thing is, it'd be with 1 loss.
Michigan would have to beat Ohio State to get in, and then Indiana would
be the champion. But then would you say, hey, 1 loss to? I could see this playing out.
Okay, and then maybe you're right, but
I can still see that playing out because you'd have a 1-loss Ohio State team because to me you cannot make an argument for anybody that's behind them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe outside of Georgia, but I mean, Georgia's got a pair.
Yeah,
and so Texas Tech,
it's tough.
I could see them not wanting to put Indiana 1, Ohio State 4, and have that potential rematch, 2 weeks later. So I could see that. I could see this playing out, especially if everything else does.
All right, Texas A&M's 2, and here's the interesting thing: Texas Tech is 4, and this is why they bumped Georgia out of the first round bye. Is because Texas Tech wins the conference championship, and then Georgia wouldn't play in the conference championship. I think they would value a Big 12 championship over Georgia.
Okay.
That's just my opinion.
And who's Texas Tech closed the year with in conference before that championship game?
West Virginia.
That's right. That's right.
In Morgantown.
That's why
couches are going to be burned.
Couches been burning. That's the reason why I dropped them a little bit in my bracket because Texas Tech, that is. I think West Virginia. I think your alma mater. I think they pull it off, and I think that's the reason why they slide to 9.
Yeah.
But even without the chaos, I do think that all that